Bernard Lupinski had two deep secrets, neither of which was suitable for the About Us section of his salon's website. The first, on nights of the full moon, he became, to quote his grandmother's delicate phrasing, extra fluffy. The second, everything metal within arm's reach, scissors, combs with those little stainless steel picks, even nail clippers morphed, as if by cosmic prank, into squeaky, bacon-scented chew toys the moment moonlight touched them. Unfortunately, the town of Brookhaven boasted exactly one upscale salon, which meant that when residents wanted a balayage, a bang trim, or gossip disguised as a self-care appointment, they came to Bernard's place. Hairy situations. The pun made marketing sense, but it also meant that each month calendars were suspiciously free of appointments for one particular 48-hour window. Locals had learned, through rumor and Instagram comments, that something always went haywire with Bernard's equipment on full moon evenings. "I have no idea how my schedule keeps clearing," Bernard lied every month to his receptionist Tasha, who responded with a slow blink that said, "I was not born yesterday." Tasha sported fluorescent green braids she'd installed herself after watching a 3-minute tutorial. She handled booking, small talk, and the salon goldfish named Fabio for the hair. Tasha also handled Bernard, whose entire business model relied on the flimsy hope that no client would ever demand a last-minute night appointment, accompanied by lunar romance. On the Thursday in question, Brookhaven's annual Autumn Bake-Off, pie auction, and obliviousness to astronomical phenomena day, Bernard's delicate system imploded. The town's busiest social event coincided with an unusually dramatic harvest moon. Bakers, realtors, and the high school marching band had all plotted their curl sets and updos around the festival's orange and cinnamon color theme. When Tasha hit double book on the software by mistake, Bernard opened Friday's calendar to discover a horror movie. Wall-to-wall appointments from 5 p.m. to midnight. Why is Miss Kravitz's daughter, and Miss Kravitz's Pomeranian on my book? Bernard squeaked. 3 generations of Kravitz hair, Tasha said, chewing her gum with the serenity of a monk. And fur. You said we were pet-friendly. Yes, during normal cosmic conditions. Relax, Bern, she said. You've gone months without a full-blown episode. Maybe the curse got bored. Bernard glanced at the forecast. Full moon rises 6:07 p.m., he whimpered. We need backup. From where? Tasha pointed to the door. The only other stylist in town is Devin, and he joined a meditation retreat in Utah. Something about hair chakras. Bernard kneaded his temple. Okay, I'll call Cousin Marco. Marco the dog groomer? He knows clippers. Dogs bite him all the time. That's useful experience, Tasha raised an eyebrow. Do you want your clients to be poodle-shaved? It will be fine. He wasn't sure. Yet existential dread bonded with desperation, and by 4:30 p.m. Marco arrived, smelling faintly of peanut butter treats, carrying a duffel bag labeled Rough Cuts. Bro, Marco greeted, giving Bernard a hug that cracked vertebrae. You're looking feral. You have no idea, Bernard muttered. Relax, Marco said, tapping his cousin's nose. I bought experimental Chew-2 Pro-proof shears supposedly made of titanium-infused something. They use them on service dogs that chew leashes. Great. If they survive 10 minutes in my aura, I'll buy a crate. Clients began flowing. Mrs. Kravitz brandished a Pinterest printout of cascading silver highlights. She stationed her Pomeranian, Lord Waffles, on her lap. I'd like mature moonlit glamour, she said. Bernard's eye twitched at the word moonlit. Lovely. While foil rustled, Tasha smuggled in cappuccinos and pep talks. Marco trimmed bangs like hedges, humming Who Let the Dogs Out. Everything seemed almost normal until 6:07. A shaft of orange moonlight threaded through the picture window and kissed Bernard's prized Matsumoto shears, mid-snip. FWIP. The shears vibrated, shrank, and puffed into a neon blue plastic bone that squeaked when compressed. Bernard's wolf senses told him to chase it. He ignored them, panting. Lord Waffles did not ignore anything. The Pomeranian sprang from Mrs. Kravitz's lap, seized the bone, and tore across the salon, squeaking triumphantly. Mrs. Kravitz screamed. Marco whooped, Playtime! No! Professionalism! Bernard cried. He lunged for Lord Waffles, whose fur was currently lodged in half aluminum foils, leaving him half pooch, half disco ball. At that precise moment, Miss Ramirez Brookhaven's no-nonsense fire chief walked in for a pixie cut. She absorbed the tableau, the dog, the foils, the squeak toy, and Bernard, whose pupils were now shimmering gold. "I'll come back," she said, executing a crisp about-face. "Stay," Bernard called, voice breaking halfway into a growl. 5-minute delay, complimentary paraffin hand dip. Before Miss Ramirez could refuse, Tasha blocked the door. "Chief, he can fix helmet hair for half the price. You know how the station fluorescents wash you out?" Miss Ramirez considered. "Fine. But I'm timing you." Bernard corralled Lord Waffles, retrieved the chew bone, and stuffed it into a drawer that immediately rattled with urgent squeaks. He attempted breathing exercises. Bad idea. Each inhale carried scent data. Long-baked apple pies, sugared air, trepidation, and of course hair. He salivated. "Snip, don't bite. Snip, don't bite." "Burn," Tasha whispered. "Your nails." He looked. Yes, claws. Not ideal for precision layering. Bernard whipped on fingerless gloves to hide them. "We keep moving." Marco pumped clippers like a carnival barker. "Next." Miss Ramirez took a chair. Meanwhile, 14-year-old Meadow Crevettes waited for her blowout, scrolling her phone. She'd requested billowing caramel waves, but also edgy, but also, "I need to look like Billie Eilish but with pastel tips." Bernard prayed someone would invent teleportation before her turn arrived. He gathered new shears and resumed. Yet each time moonlight flicked a blade, chew toy conversion ensued. Soon the drawer bulged with rubberized bones, frisbees, and a sentient comb that squealed like a dog whistle. Bernard's last metal tool surrendered at 6:43, turning into a plush steak that bled squeaker notes whenever touched. "We're out of equipment," he told Tasha. "Use plastic?" "Plastic doesn't cut," Bernard replied. "Your teeth do," she said, then winced at her own suggestion. Bernard stared at his reflection. Yellow eyes and twitching ears were reality now. "I need a plan." Marco removed his earbuds. "Dude, let your inner mammal free. Rip these split ends a new one, literally." "We do not maul clientele," Bernard hissed. "Not maul. Chomp with nuance. I've seen wolves in documentaries trim each other's fur. Mutual grooming. Those wolves are not responsible for Yelp reviews." Through the chatter came a timid voice. "Excuse me, I have a 7 o'clock brow tint?" Everyone turned. It was Mr. Delgado, Brookhaven's pastry king, holding a bag marked Mystery Damishes. "Brows," Bernard repeated, both relieved brows required less hardware, and troubled. Hot sugar scent intensified his salivation. "Yes, sit." Brows he could do with tweezers. Oh, right. Metal. He rummaged for plastic tweezers left over from an Easter egg kit. They snapped at the slightest pluck. The moon, apparently bored, decided to up the ante. Even the salon's gigantic wall mirror began to show 2 silhouettes for every person. One human, one wolfie. Clients gasped at their lupine reflections. "I didn't pay for Snapchat filters," Meadow Kravitz complained. "It's ambience," Bernard said, sweating through his turtleneck. Ms. Ramirez stood, cape fluttering. "Bernard, I'm a fire chief, not a fan of chaos. Fix this." She brandished a fire department multi-tool, which from certain angles resembled scissors. The tool, sensing full moon juju, wriggled until it snapped into, of course, a red Kong chew toy. Mrs. Ramirez dropped it. Lord Waffles re-engaged. He ricocheted across the salon, yipping. "It's okay," Bernard shouted over the squeaks. "Controlled environment." Then came the power outage. The harvest moon absorbed the electric grid's dignity, plunging hairy situations into darkness, lit only by spooky orange shafts and the LED open sign flickering ON. Clients screamed. Someone knocked over Fabio's aquarium. Luckily, the lid stayed on. Tasha smacked a flashlight on. Its beam found Bernard mid-molt. His usually trimmed beard now exploded into a chest-length mane. His ears peeked through his curly undercut like 2 alert commas. There was no hiding now. "That's it," Ms. Ramirez said. "I'm calling the state board and possibly animal control." "No!" Bernard howled. Actual howl? Give me 5 minutes. I've given you 40 and you're turning to Teen Wolf 2. Actually, Teen Wolf 2 was about basketball. This is more of a salon, Marco began, but Ms. Ramirez silenced him with a look. At that moment, Mr. Delgado set his bag on the counter. Steam wafted out. Cinnamon apple like edible nirvana. Bernard's brain flipped a switch. He pounced, not on Mr. Delgado, but on the idea forming behind his golden eyes. Pastry, he barked. Round, crescent, Annie shapes? Danishes, Mr. Delgado said, trembling. I need dough. Lots. Bernard rummaged in the bag like a raccoon in a picnic cooler. He produced 3 raspberry pinwheels and a cream cheese bear claw. Then he commandeered the salon's towel warmer, emptied it, and stuffed pastries inside. He clicked it on. Bro, Marco said, are we baking therapy snacks? Distraction snacks, Bernard corrected, because watch. From his pocket, he pulled a single silver alligator hair clip that had somehow escaped conversion. He dangled it under the moonbeam. It squeaked into a tiny rubber croissant. Eureka! Sugar overrides the curse, Bernard explained, half-guessing. If metal becomes dog toys under moonlight, and dog toys equal chewables, then maybe edible chewables trick the curse into chilling out. Everyone looked befuddled. Meadow raised her phone to live stream. At this point, rationality had left the premises with the backup generator. Bernard grabbed a pizza cutter from Marco's dog grooming kit, don't ask, and held it near the towel warmer's pastry slot. Pizza cutter remained metal. Success, science, he declared. Witchcraft, Tasha said, impressed. Bernard distributed warm pastries to every station like communion. He balanced a Danish on the windowsill so moonlight could shine through its jelly center. Nothing transformed. Confidence surged. We proceed, Bernard announced, voice now hybrid of maisterly and pack alpha. Marco, scissors your titanium wonder slice. Tasha, play relaxing music. Fabio, swim majestically. Lord Waffle, sit. Shockingly, the dog obeyed, transfixed by the jelly donut Bernard dangled. Hair resumed falling in tidy tufts. With pastry bober tools, no more squeaks. Ms. Ramirez Pixie emerged, crisp edges around her neck like topiary. She inspected it under flashlight. Solid work, she admitted. Assuming you stop howling at hydrants, we're square. Meadow Kravitz slid into the chair, still live streaming. Make me pastel fire, she said. Pastel supplies, also metal tubes. But by now, pastry doping seemed to immunize everything. Bernard separated Meadow's hair, applied soft washes of coral and mint, then blasted with the ionic dryer, thank God not metal. He finished with a scrunch and flourish. Meadow's followers exploded hearts on the screen. OMG Brookhaven Stylist is literal werewolf, 10/10, better than LA. Influencer approval unlocked, Tasha noted. By 9 p.m., everyone had been coiffed, trimmed, or tinted, including Lord Waffles, whose fur now featured a subtle paw print pattern courtesy of Marco's creative clipper work. Clients nibbled pastries, sipped cider, and swapped selfies with their Lupin mirror reflections. What began as mass hysteria mutated into a pop-up full moon party. Bernard, still very furry but coherent, gathered them near the front desk. Tonight you've witnessed rare artisanal grooming. If satisfied, tell friends. If not, remember, wolves have excellent hearing. Nervous chuckles. Ms. Ramirez saluted him formally. Meadow posted a story captioned, Harry situation saves the night, literally. Even Mrs. Kravitz tipped an extra 10 for moon damage hazard pay. When the last client left, Tasha locked the door. A hush settled, broken only by Fabio blubbing and Bernard's claws tapping the floor. We survived, Tasha exhaled. Correction, Marco said, punching the air. We thrived. Bro, this is your niche, Lunar Lux grooming. I never want to relive that, Bernard sighed, then gnawed a Danish absent-mindedly. Tasha perched on the arm of a chair. Bern, we can spin this. Think about it. Monthly full moon salon parties. Limited slots, exotic experience. People pay top dollar for weird. Is exploiting my condition ethical? Is hiding your authentic self ethical? She countered. Bernard mulled the question while licking powdered sugar off his snout. Authentic. The word tasted sweet. I'd need protocols, he said. Pastry buffer zones. Maybe reflective foil hats for tools. Pastries I can supply, came Mr. Delgado's voice. He'd slipped back in after realizing he'd forgotten his coat. That was the most adrenaline I've had since the Great Eclair Fire of '09. Sign me up as official confection partner. Marco bounced. I'll handle dogs, complimentary pet trims during the party, 2 birds, 1 stone, no fleas. Tasha opened the booking software. Brainstorm session at dawn. For now, mop up fur before the health inspector spontaneously appears. They cleaned, Bernard's fur clogged vacuum hoses, Marco combed them into little puffballs to donate to bird nest charities. Tasha tallied receipts and discovered the night's revenue was triple average. Lunar premium fees, plus tips, plus 1 hefty check from a mysterious anonymous benefactor who turned out to be Mr. Delgado after sampling his own adrenaline. Midnight struck. The moon began sliding west, its magic ebbing. Bernard felt fur recede, teeth dull, and a slow ache replacing earlier euphoria. Transformation hangover, the classic curse of his bloodline. He collapsed into the shampoo chair. Tasha draped a towel over him. You good? He nodded. Imagine telling my past self I'd survive tonight without ripping out anyone's throat. You almost did rip a Danish's throat, she teased. Valid casualty. Marco flopped onto the waiting bench. I learned humans tip better than Labradors. The door chimed. Everyone jolted. In walked Deputy Weston, twirling keys. Evening, he drawled. Saw lights, everything all right? Yes, officer, Bernard said, forced smile. Closing up, Weston sniffed. Smells like fur and frosting. You folks throw a petting zoo carnival? Niche aromatherapy, Tasha said. Can we help you with an appointment? He lifted his hat, revealing shaggy roots. Wife's been nagging me about a trim, but late, huh? Bernard, halfway reverted to human, glanced at the waning moon. I can squeeze you in, no charge. Consider it community outreach, Weston shrugged. Sure, Tasha mouthed, bold, to Bernard. He selected a pastry-vaccinated scissor pair, now glitter-coated from raspberry goo, and set to work. Weston relaxed, eyes drooping. Clip-snip confidence. God admit, the deputy murmured, this feels soothing. Bernard smiled. That's the secret ingredient. Controlled wildness. Everyone's got a beast to tame. He checked the finish in the mirror. Only one reflection now, no wolf overlay. Clean fade, even sideburns. Weston grinned. Sharp. As the deputy left, he tipped the brim of his hat. See you around the next full moon? Bernard locked eyes with Tasha, who nodded. Yes, he said. Our new VIP service launches then. Bring friends. Door closed. An exhausted but exhilarated silence blossomed. Marco slapped Bernard's back. Proud of you, Coos. Took the wolf by the horns. Wolves don't have horns. Metaphor horns. Bernard chuckled. Surprised human vocal cords cooperated. Let's go home. They switched off lights, except for the neon sign. It flickered back to hairy situations in full glow. Outside, the last of the moonlight glinted on the glass, and Bernard caught his reflection. Human face, tired but content, a single tuft of fur on his ear refusing to vanish. He brushed it fondly. You stay, he whispered. We've got a brand to build. Then he stepped into the night, pastry-scented scissors jingling in his pocket, ready for whatever the next lunar cycle might serve, hopefully with extra frosting.